Inside this luxurious villa, the maid was busy cleaning. The housekeeper urged her to hurry and prepare the guest room, because the eldest young lady was about to return. The maid took the blanket, but her gaze drifted into the distance. Her thoughts returned to another time and space. Back then, she was not a maid, but the personal attendant of the Prime Minister's legitimate daughter. Her mistress, that young lady, entered the palace at the age of 16, with extraordinary wisdom and skill. The young lady rose step by step from a low-ranking consort to the position of empress, becoming the mother of the nation, and the maid rose with her status. She was granted the title of Xiaorong, assisting her mistress in managing the inner palace for over 40 years, enjoying great prestige. But on her 60th birthday, she was inexplicably transported to this unfamiliar era, and became the daughter of the family's housekeeper. While she was still in a daze, a well-dressed woman walked down the stairs. This woman was the family's eldest young lady, and also the fake heiress who was about to be kicked out. She accidentally bumped into the maid while coming downstairs. Not only did she not apologize, she looked at her with disgust, and threatened to have the master fire her. The maid looked at her rude behavior, and felt deep contempt in her heart. The fake heiress bossed around the other servants in the living room, and the maid's mother, the family's housekeeper, quietly told her a secret. It turned out this fake heiress was not related to the Shin family by blood. She was just a child who had been switched at birth 20 years ago, and the Shin family's real daughter was about to return. Hearing this, the maid was deeply shaken. At that moment, the front door was pushed open. A girl in a white dress walked in, pulling a suitcase. When the maid saw the girl's face clearly, she froze. Her appearance was exactly the same as the young lady she had protected in her past life. Memories came flooding back again. In her past life, the young lady wore a phoenix robe, and was crowned empress, so dignified and noble. The girl smiled and introduced herself to everyone. Her name was Shin Nanin. The maid could no longer control her emotions. Everyone present was completely caught off guard by this sudden reaction. The housekeeper quickly pulled the maid away, telling her not to scare the young lady who had just come home. The maid calmed down. She realized that the young lady in this world was gentle and timid, far less decisive than she had been in her past life, but she made a silent vow that she would protect the young lady at all costs in this lifetime. At this moment, the fake heiress walked over, and hypocritically took the young lady's hand. She spoke words of welcome, but between the lines she bragged that the parents and younger brother only acknowledged her, implying that the young lady was just a stranger with blood ties, and should leave on her own. She even pushed further, and suggested that the real heiress who had just returned should live in the storage room.
就住在我家好不好？姑妈，去把房间收拾一下。是。你还杵着干什么？还不快去！
She took a solid slap across the face. The servants nearby cried out in shock. The fake heiress became even more arrogant, and raised her hand to slap again. But this time, the maid did not endure it. She recalled all the tactics she had learned in the palace in her past life, and slapped the fake heiress back without hesitation. The maid grabbed the fake heiress tightly, every word cutting straight to the heart, exposing her identity as an adopted daughter, not even as respectable as an illegitimate child, yet daring to flaunt her power in front of the legitimate daughter. The fake heiress was furious, but left completely speechless. Then the maid rushed straight to the second floor, and threw all of the fake heiress's luggage and clothes downstairs. She stood upstairs and looked down at the disheveled fake heiress, declaring that this room had always belonged to the young lady, and that the fake heiress was only fit to live in the storage room. After the chaos ended, the maid comforted the frightened young lady. She told her not to be afraid, and promised to help her take back everything that belonged to her. She took out a book on business management, and encouraged the young lady that as the eldest daughter, she should rightfully inherit the family business. On the other side, the fake heiress was crying to the master and madam after they returned home, with a few carefully chosen words and the younger brother adding fuel to the fire. She successfully shifted all the blame onto the young lady and the maid. The younger brother was completely stirred up, and rushed straight into the young lady's room, throwing down a bank card. He told her to take the money and get out. The maid happened to walk in carrying tea and snacks. When she saw the scene, she set the tray down, and directly pinned the arrogant younger brother to the ground. She grabbed his hair, and forced him to apologize to his elder sister. The younger brother struggled but couldn't break free, and could only unwillingly admit his mistake. Then he ran off angrily to complain. The whole family gathered again in the living room. The master blamed the young lady without asking what really happened. The madam also sided with the adopted daughter, thinking that her biological daughter was timid and not presentable. Just as the truth was being twisted, the maid stepped forward. She clearly and logically pointed out that disciplining the younger brother was for the Shin family's reputation, and directly accused the master and madam of failing in their parenting. She brought over tea, and asked the young lady to offer it to her parents, as a formal ceremony to acknowledge her return to the family, and restore proper family order.
爸妈，你们请喝茶。
爸妈，我不同意。
我同意，谁敢说不？